Like, what's the sort of like end goal when it comes to the purpose that you're trying to fulfill?
So our, I guess, deeper vision is to almost kind of see a paradigm shift where, like, we are enabled to allow young people to fulfill their potential and deepen the impact that they have on the world. Like, I see kind of, and especially from my own journey, right? I could easily have seen my path be so linear and the word that's come into my mind is basic, and my skill set not being channeled in a way that's useful for society.
It's a template. Yeah, it's a
right.
cookie cutter. Yeah,
exactly.
I understand.
So I think the kind of broader vision is if we can open up more of these types of opportunities, engage young people in a more dynamic way and inspire them to apply their skills in a kind of more dynamic way that, you know, influences society for the better. I think that's kind of the ultimate aim, right? In order for them to deepen the impact that they have on the world and fulfill their own potential, right? There's like a key that we can unlock that can open up their minds.
Yeah, I think that's something that's very apparent with, say, our generation, is that impact is a very strongly held value, I think, within our generation. And yeah, a lot of the roles that are very prevalent with the whole sort of, I guess you said linear, they don't hit that impact aspect as much as say, you know, doing things with local community or doing things with developing nations. So yeah, I can 100% see that. Like there needs to be that gap to be bridged, and this is definitely one solution that can do that, right? But there's tons of other ways to do these and to engage these people's minds, and I think you are seeing that, because it's like loads of people go into these jobs and they get to the age of like 25, 26, and they're like, do I actually like this? Have I just climbed some mountains have I just climbed some mountains I don't actually want to climb?
Exactly. It's that kind of that notion of you climbing this ladder, but then when you get to the top, you realise it's on the wrong wall.
Yeah.
It's exactly that, right? And I think that's where I was very lucky to have a lot of advice at a young age that kind of told me these stories, right? And I was very much told, don't work for just money until at least the age of 25. Right, just follow your curiosities, and eventually your curiosity will hopefully lead you to your passion, right? It's very hard to take that advice, but when you action it, you then realise kind of all the value that you can gain from taking, I guess, an alternative path. But I think that need for short-term money is such a pull for young people that they feel like they want that financial independence, which I get, right? I really feel it. I still feel financially insecure in what I do. But there's so much value beyond money that can hopefully kind of enrich your life in another way. And like you said, there is money in what we do as well. Like, I'm not saying there isn't. But there's that short versus long-term gratification. I think, especially in an entrepreneurial path, right? In order to get to where you want to be, you're going to have to go through a short-term struggle or even a medium to long-term struggle before you see those kind of financial rewards. So if you can just kind of build that patience in people where they can kind of take those actionable steps to start kind of building their own thing and delay that gratification, I think that's really important as well.
But again, in entrepreneurship generally, that message is very prevalent. But when it comes to building things in social enterprise or building things for, you know, I guess industries that aren't as lucrative on the face of it, that's when it's like, if I delay gratification, will that reward ever come?
And this is where the magic is in taking action. So once you start taking action in whatever social impact field that you want, what you realise is that you feel the value beyond the money, right? When you're working for something bigger than yourself, you feel that extra motivation, you feel that extra responsibility. The relative challenges that you feel are, you can build that perspective on what you're contributing towards. I remember straight after graduation, when I was tasked to kind of build these experiential workshops and sell it to universities, I was like, what am I doing wasting my time on my last summer holiday doing this, like, for no money? But then when I realised kind of the work that the women do on the ground every single day, you kind of gain a bit of perspective on your relative struggles, and then you can build that perspective And it also reminds you and gives you a sense of responsibility of what you're trying to contribute towards, which is something bigger than yourself. So when you start actioning something within this kind of social impact space, you feel the value beyond just the money, right? And it enables you to keep on going and it keeps you motivated. So I think that's what's really important. Get out of your head, get out of the room, take action, right? And once you start taking action, you'll feel the positive reinforcement beyond just the money, I think.
But again, that's just like something that we've been sold is like that. You need that money. That's the thing that we've been sold from a young age, and it's like, then you start going after things where again it doesn't fulfill those goals that you have inherently in your mind, and it leads to sort of like longer term unhappiness, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So I guess if there's a way that people can sort of like bridge that gap, then that I can definitely see that, but I think another thing is like, how do you incentivize younger people that are literally straight out of university, who might not have that understanding of themselves, where they know maybe deep down they are driven by impact, but they might realize it too late. No, not even too late, but just like a few years down the line. I guess like there's one thing showing them that the problem exists, and there's another thing showing them that you might find more fulfillment down this road rather than that road.
Yeah, it's a tough challenge, and I think that's where, again, going back to building that empathy in them and getting them to feel the challenges for themselves, then encourages them to take that action, right? And I think that's the gap that we're bridging. So I think, but the opportunities are so scarce, right? So getting them to get out of the room, whether it's through our experiences or through seeking local volunteering experiences, like getting out of the room, speaking to people, understanding, and building empathy with the people that you're trying to help is really important. And I think the kind of social impact journey is twofold. It's not just external, but it's also internal, right? Everything in our internal world is a product. So everything in our external world is a product of our internal world. So the internal world is very much related to the external. There's a quote by one of the people that, one of the founders of the NGO that I work closely with in Gandhi Ashram in India, who says that service is external meditation and meditation is internal service. So I think that journey of deeply exploring our internal worlds is, I think, a really important dynamic which will then enable us to think more clearly about what our values are and what we want to do. So I think that's an important journey. So that time to pause and reflect on what we're doing in our fast-paced world, I think is really important.